Well, ladies and gentlemen, could Jeff have actually leaked this hero's ability set back in 2017? Guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Stylosa, and I'm going to break down what I believe are the abilities or even the kit of the new Sigma hero. This video is going to get a little bit complicated, but just bear with me, it'll be worth it in the end. So, this is what we get here from Jeff back in 2017. He says the engine can timescale. We use it internally frequently. We'll look into whether or not we can make this a custom game option for you. Fun fact, Lucio's first ultimate used to be a total timescale for everyone in the match except for Lucio. Now you're probably thinking, well, Star, why does this even matter? It matters because of this. That's right, in the teaser for Sigma, Jeff is wearing a Lucio t-shirt. Oh lord. Then of course he gets sucked into what we believe is some sort of singularity style black hole, and that would actually, well, it'll make sense in a second, but black holes, theory of relativity, all of this stuff, it kind of connects together. So let me explain. So what we're seeing on the screen here are a bunch of equations, a bunch of formula. This is essentially the geodesic equation, but also it's got escape velocity equations thrown in and a bunch of other stuff. There's also some Feynman diagrams, which I will explain in a second. But basically, all of this relates to gravity. It relates to mass, it relates to gravity, which they're both interconnected. And time is also put into this as well, which we'll get onto in a second. But this could potentially point towards somebody who has mastered gravity. Somebody who has the ability to alter gravity, which could lead to being able to slow players down in the game, because if you could increase the gravity or increase the mass, so gravity has a stronger effect on that target, then they would slow down. Super interesting. Okay, let's take a look at these Feynman diagrams, because I think this is the critical element of the entire tease we've had so far. For a start, this was in the middle of the screen, so it's like Blizzard is saying, look at this, guys, work this out. Now, if you guys watched the video I put out yesterday, where like I literally was just reacting to this video straight away, I'd forgot a lot of the physics that I'd been taught at school. But now it's kind of coming back to me, and with the power of Google, I've been able to sort of work a few things out. And this is why I think this hero is most likely connected to increasing the mass of a certain area, which slows down the movement of heroes through that area. So, what we're looking at here is a Feynman diagram. Now, these, as you can see, I've got the Wikipedia example explanation at the bottom there. It's a pictorial representation of the mathematical expressions describing the behavior of subatomic particles. Now, what this shows you is the way particles interact. It can show the annihilation of particles, the way particles can transform into other types of particles. Specifically, when we're looking at we'll bring it up on the screen one sec. When we're looking at this diagram, so this would be the Feynman diagram of an electron and positron annihilation. You can see the interaction taking place. So you've got the time, you've got the spaces, you've got the positive, the negative electrons, you've got all of that going on. It's an easy way of explaining these type of subatomic particle interactions. Now, I know this might sound ridiculous, like what the hell's that easy way? This doesn't even look real. But let me explain why I think this is why we need to pay attention. So this diagram is showing a Z boson or a Z boson, depending on where you hail from, decaying into two tauons. Now, there's an interesting thing about tauons. Tauons are much more heavier than the Z boson, but they don't exist for a very long time. We're talking like split, like not even milliseconds. They literally come into existence, then go out of existence. But their mass is much more than the Z boson. Why would Blizzard show us this, right? What is going on there? This must indicate that whatever this hero does, it somehow increases mass for a short period of time. Now, if you increase the mass of something, it becomes more difficult to move, doesn't it? This is where I'm getting my theories of this hero must slow people down in some sort of capacity. Also, the name Sigma. Now, what is Sigma? Well, in particle physics, Sigma is part of the family of baryon particles. Now, baryon particles are a type of composite subatomic particle which contains an odd number of valence quarks. For example, I'm reading Wikipedia here, right, guys? A proton is made up of two quarks, one down quark, and its corresponding antiparticle. The antiproton is made of two up antiquarks and one down antiquark. Now, I don't think any of that makes any difference. That's why I literally just read Wikipedia off and laughed, because I don't think that matters. I think, yeah, it's just called Sigma because it's a particle in physics, and the guy's a physicist. I don't think there's going to be any more than that to his name, potentially. Yeah. So what about if we look at the patch notes on the PTR? Now we find some interesting stuff here. So remember, there are the changes to the way slows interact with characters. So Reinhardt now on the PTR, if he deploys his barrier, so he's moving at a slow speed, like purposely because he's dropped his barrier, that's a minus negative kind of speed he's giving to himself. If he starts getting slowed by Mei, he can still move at the normal speed he's got with his barrier deployed until Mei's slow becomes more than the slow from him deploying his barrier, at which point he will then start to slow down and then get froze by Mei. Same thing for Symmetra's turrets. They don't affect Reinhardt anymore. He can just walk through a choke at his normal pace with his shield deployed. So why would they change that? Anyway, this is what really interests me. I mean, well, apart from buffing Reinhardt, right? Because that's also nice. But this interests me here. So you've got a list of bug fixes, but the one at the very bottom says some abilities will now appear smoother during slowed down time, end of round, or custom game. Notably, Dragon Strike and Roadhog Hook. Why would you start looking at those abilities in slowed down time if you are not about to introduce something into the game that interacts, well, or that causes slowed down time that might possibly be a result of increasing the mass of characters in that area? Wow. And also, don't forget about Moira. Moira can now fade out of literally everything, right? Maybe that's a buff, so Moira is more survivable against whatever this new hero is. Although I do believe Moira is ridiculously OP from what I've seen on the PTR. She just can never get crowd controlled or trapped by it. She can just escape everything. In fact, you can earth shatter Moira if she hits the ground, and then she can just press shift and get the hell out of it with fade. It is quite ridiculous. Well, there you go, guys. This has been my, I guess, more advanced speculation. I presume we will get more teasers. It's a bit weird to get a teaser on a Saturday, so maybe we get one today. Maybe we get one on Monday. Maybe we get one on Tuesday, Wednesday. Who knows, right? We could be looking at PTR on Thursday for this, or maybe even sooner. We don't know. I'm really hyped, and it's really cool to get this kind of stuff coming out again. And I feel, I said this on Twitter, but I feel like it's Overwatch back in 2016, these last couple of days, where there's just so much stuff going on. It feels like a living, breathing game again, and it means we can make content, which is super, super cool. All right, guys, I've been Stylosa, and I hope this video has kind of give you a bit of insight into what's going on. Now, I may have got some things wrong. If I have, correct me in the comments below, but I think my theory is kind of sound, and we are probably looking at somebody who can manipulate gravity in some way, which would then cause slowdown effects, which would, well, slow down you. Catch you guys in the next one. Toodaloo.